afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hyunju Park, and I am here to talk about how design changes the world. Before I talk about my proposal for a future design, let me tell you why I chose this topic. Why design? After all, I'm just majoring in international studies, which has nothing to do with design, really. But this story actually goes further back into my childhood. When I was growing up, I was a tomboy, so instead of playing with Barbie dolls, I played with cars. Now, obviously, I didn't own cars like this. This is a BMW X Coupe. But I was always interested in this sleek design and how fast and how practical it was. Another car that fascinated me was BMW Gina F5. As you can see, the exterior is actually made out of fabric. So when I was seeing all these pictures, I was amazed at how design can connect myself and whoever designed these cars. Actually, the person that designed these cars became my hero, and his name is Chris Bangle. Chris Bangle is an American car designer. He was former chief of design in BMW. Now he owns his own company, and he's the managing director there. And when I heard that he was coming to Korea this year for speaking at a Korea Herald Forum, the Reimagine Forum that's held annually, I was so ready to just go and see him and ask him questions and talk to him. But I could only do that if and only if I win this presentation competition. And so that involved presenting in front of 800 people in a big auditorium in Coex. So I did, and I finally got to see him. So this was my hero, and I was having dinner with him, and I asked him the question that's been bothering me for years, and that was, what's so important about design? Why did you choose to do designing for your job? And he said something that I'll never forget. He said, I'm designing because design bridges the gap between people. So as I was pondering more about what this meant, I came to a conclusion that if I design something, that's going to connect with other people. So that really inspired me to design something for a future. The question I asked was, how can a design further connect people in a very Korean way? So that involved looking through our ancestors' wisdom. And then all of a sudden, it made me think of food. Do you love food? I love food, and I'm sure many people around the world love food as well. But in some jagged edges of the world, food storage is a problematic issue. In fact, fruits and vegetables do not last 2 days under the scorching heat of sub-Saharan Africa, particularly the places where people need food the most. So how can we provide a good refrigerator with no electricity? This is where Korean traditional pottery, ongi, comes into the picture. Practically originating from 4000 BC, ongi were used to store traditional condiments, kimchi, sauces, all kinds of goodies we used to eat. In fact, scientists from all over the world still praise the excellent practicality of ongi design in food storage. Why? Here are some characteristics of ongi. First of all, ongi design allows the passage of air. In its production process, an ongi is shaped by fine clay, as you can see. So if you look closely at its surface design, ongi has these microscopic holes big enough to let air in, but small enough to prevent anything else from entering. So the passage of just the right amount of air actually keeps the food fresh for a longer period of time. Also, its unique lid design allows the passage of air as the air moves along the curvature of the pottery's body. Secondly, its glazed body gives it a waterproof property, so the food can stay dry for many, many days. Third, carbon and smoke that come out when firing a kiln adheres to the ongi surface. So what's so special about carbon and smoke? They contain eco-friendly chemicals that act as natural preservative materials. So just by storing food in an ongi, the food becomes somewhat rot-proof. And finally, ongi is very durable. It is sturdy enough to be able to last for up to 100 years of usage. So this is the design I came up with, and I'm going to name it ongi in ongi because it's kind of fun to call it too. So what I did was to put a smaller sized ongi inside a bigger one and fill the space in between the two with sand and water. This way, the water will evaporate and the sand will hold the pottery in place, of course, but as the water evaporates, it acts as an insulator against outside temperature. So it's durable, cooling, waterproof, and rot-proof food containers. Some positive consequences. First of all, it will connect people and send them a message. As we Koreans have developed this thing called ongi for years, I believe this can send a message to people, let's say in Africa, and really send them our love and our care for those people. Secondly, it will obviously improve people's general health because less food will rot. And finally, it will free people from a physically strenuous obligation of having to cook and eat food quickly before the weather destroys it. That's a lot of benefits for a simple design, I believe, and this is another way design can talk. We'll save your food. So now that I have made my point, I'd like to conclude this presentation with some final words. Design used to be something that only focuses on outward appearance, about how pretty some things look. But now, design has become something greater, something more effective than just looking good. Design talks. Design connects. Design makes this world a better place, and thus changes the world. Thank you for listening.